I was like disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along. I mean, like, everything he's done on Doge gets wiped out in the first year.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
That was Elon Musk taking a shot at Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, as he calls it. Apologies to everyone. We're starting a little bit late. We had some tech problems, but we're duct taping it together for this morning broadcast. I hope you're doing absolutely wonderful. Thank you to all of you joining us live or watching back the recorded version on podcast platforms and YouTube. Elon Musk clearly now, for the first time publicly, is saying he doesn't like Trump's reconciliation bill. Now, for him, is it the cuts to crucial programs that keep people alive? No, because he cut those himself. But for him, it's the debt problem. And that's something that Republicans have been repeatedly lying about. As a total side note, before continuing to discuss this, the whole let's do an interview in a loud place in your factory to show people like you're a factory guy.
Pointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly.
Hey, how about you just do the interview in a quiet room? I get it. Oh, he owns companies that have factories. I know what factories look like. I don't need this to be the setting. It kind of reminds me of those diner, which we're going to do some of these. So just, I'm going to be hypocritical, but it's cringy when people are sitting in diners and you hear the clink, clink, clink of the dishes and people are talking. And it's like, do we really need to pretend? The politicians, look, I sit in normal people places like normal people. Look, I let normal people around me. I'm so good. I'm so nice. If you'll take that off, Jaden. Now, Elon also said about Doge, he said Doge is a whipping boy for everything. Which I guess is, yeah, Doge gets blamed for a lot of stuff because Doge was heading up the charge on a lot of bad things. But Elon hit out at President Donald Trump's White House for the second time in a week, accusing the administration of making his government / Department of Government Efficiency its whipping boy. Now, I looked up that phrase whipping boy because it felt like it could be attached to something absolutely terrible. And it was, but not what you would maybe think. Apparently that comes from, imagine this, humans are sick people, I've come to learn. Princes, like in olden times, royals, princes would have a whipping boy. So when the prince would need to be punished, a teacher or a tutor would whip the whipping boy instead of the prince, because the prince couldn't be whipped. Now, of course, I thought, why couldn't I have had one of those when I was a kid? No, I'm kidding. I never got whipped. But I just mean for anything I was going to be punished for, I would love to have someone else that I go, yes, I did forget to clean my room. Now reprimand him. I would love to have one of those now. I'm sure Jaden would like to have one of those now. Our tech setup's not working out. Jaden says, punish him. And I find that to be such a sick concept. How does that work even, by the way? How does that work? How does the prince even care that the whipping boy is being whipped for his wrongdoings? What a weird world we live in. We should have... Oh, and there's the playback. That's beautiful. We should have just given up on humanity when we came up with that concept. Whipping boy. But anyways, Doge is apparently that. And that's such an Elon Musk phrase too. You remember when his father bragged about how Elon was really nice to the servants that they had? Maybe Elon had a whipping boy. I do not know. Meanwhile, Tesla sales crash in Europe as Musk backlash rages. We've talked about this, but there's all sorts of backlash. And take a look at this. Overall battery-powered car sales in Europe climbing by more than a third. But while that's happening, Tesla sales last month were down 49% year over year. That is tragic. And Tucker, so insensitive, laughing about the pain of Elon's company. While we continue through this morning broadcast, remember, if you become a member while we're still live by clicking the join button on YouTube, I'll read out your name and thank you. We do have the live show coming up July 5th in Austin, Texas. It's going to be epic. And I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you. That's linked in the description below as well. It seems it's becoming, I guess, this whipping boy concept, which I feel uncomfortable saying. It feels bad, but Elon said it, so it must be okay. It seems that Doge is increasingly popular to poo-poo on from the left and the right. Here's DeSantis.
Inflation is a tax. When your money becomes less valuable, that's no different in outcome than if Congress were to simply just directly tax you. It's less transparent, it's more indirect, but it is having the same exact impact. And so when they do deficit spending of $2 trillion, and they say, well, we don't want to raise taxes. And I'm not arguing for that either. I'm arguing for lowering spending. But just understand, that $2 trillion deficit is a tax on you. It works its way through the economy. There's no free lunch. And that's what ends up happening. And it's a little frustrating.
How is he so uncharismatic? I do not understand it. It's enraging. I don't know why. It doesn't affect me. But you're so uncharismatic. There's not a free lunch. It just, ugh. The way you talk is so irritating. It may not be as direct, but it works its way. Like, the point he's making is true, but it's so annoying.
And that's what ends up happening. And it's a little frustrating. Elon Musk went into this Doge effort. He was getting lampooned. I mean, like, they're firebombing his Tesla dealerships. Media smearing him relentlessly. His businesses suffered, all this stuff, because he basically said, look, we can't keep doing this, and we need to moderate and reduce the amount of money that the federal government is spending. And yet, we have a Republican Congress, and to this day, we're in the end of May, past Memorial Day, and not 1 cent in Doge cuts have been implemented by the Congress.
He's so irritating. Carrot, thank you so much for becoming a member by clicking the join button on YouTube. I just got a CNN notification that says, U.S. and Russia trade barbs. Kremlin aide accuses Trump of being not sufficiently informed about the situation. Oh no, that's going to escalate. Now they're taking personally. I mean, true, but in the opposite direction than the Kremlin would like. My goodness, DeSantis. They haven't. Yeah, he's speaking. They haven't implemented one thing of those cuts, have they? And that's what they keep arguing. You realize a part of that is because there's not really much substantive to be implemented. They didn't really do that much. What they did do was disastrous, which shows you the scope and scale of our government. That something that in the grand scheme of things won't affect the numbers much can still affect people's lives in a horrific fashion whenever you rip these programs apart. But the broader promise of spending cuts compared to our overall spending was not significant. So enshrining it into federal law wouldn't really do that much. But I guess we ought to keep listening to this. I don't even think we got to the headline part yet.
That's one of the reasons why we need a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution. It's another reason why we need...
That's, by the way, ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Did I hear that right?
Implemented by the Congress. That's one of the reasons why we need...
By the Congress.
A balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
No, that's silly. Having a balanced budget amendment would prevent us from getting out of every economic crisis ever. Now, should we deal with our debt problem better? Yes, but deficit spending can be very economically stimulating and can boost growth proportional to the increase in debt, and your economy can be running fine if Republicans wouldn't keep decreasing government revenue through their irresponsible tax cuts. And then, yes, some spending adjustments or tax code adjustments could be made even if you excluded the bad Republican decisions and sometimes Democratic decisions. But forcing us into never being able to deficit spend would be economically disastrous. If we ever got into another, which we will, economic downturn, a really effective way to get out of that is temporary deficit spending. That then you're supposed to adjust for, but that's why it doesn't happen. Thank you so much to Law Nerd Debbie for becoming a member by clicking the join button. Let's keep going.
It's another reason why we need term limits for members of Congress.
That I'd be fine with.
But I think what you've seen with how, and I kind of said this early on, that Doge and Elon were on a collision course with the swamp. And the question is, what would happen? And I don't think there's any question that Doge fought the swamp, and so far the swamp has won. And that's just unfortunate, but I don't think you can look at this any other way.
He's pounding his podium. You can hear it in the headphones. He's speaking in that voice. None of it comes off right. You know what's crazy? He still thinks he's going to be president. You know, I really think he believes he's going to be the next president. And it's sad. It's sad. The swamp won, he says. Well, then can you just admit Trump is the swamp? Like, they don't. Then Trump's the swamp. That would be the only conclusion, because Trump's the one who's allowing for Elon's hard work to go unenshrined or whatever. All right, yesterday we talked a lot about Trump pardons. He had the one pardon of the sheriff who was bribed. He then pardoned the son, the fraudster son of the mother who paid $1 million to go have dinner with him and convince him. And now he pardoned 2 reality show fraudster stars, Todd and Julie Chrisley.
President Trump tonight issuing pardons to 2 reality TV stars, Todd and Julie Chrisley, known for their hit show Chrisley Knows Best. They were convicted of defrauding banks out of tens of millions of dollars. Both Chrisleys convicted back in 2022 and still had several years left on their prison sentences. A White House staffer posting video from the moment Trump called their children to tell them the news.
Give them my regards and wish them a good life.
Mr. President.
Yes. How are you?
I just want to say thank you for bringing my parents back.
Yeah, well, they were...
Trump is just so good with emotional circumstances. I just want to thank you for bringing my parents back. Yeah. That's what he said. Yeah.
Bringing my parents back.
Yeah, well, they were given a pretty harsh treatment based on what I'm hearing. Pretty harsh treatment.
Yes, sir.
Trump's pardon.
I hear they're big MAGA fans. Big Trump. Like, that's exactly where his brain goes.
And comes after the Chrisley's daughter, Savannah, who you heard in that video, made an appearance on a Fox News show hosted by Trump's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump. Senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez joins us now from the North Lawn. Gabe, what do we know about why Trump decided to grant this pardon?
Well, Elson, you just saw that video posted by one of his aides. You know, he was speaking with his children, their children rather, by phone from the Oval Office. Now, in that video, he said that this should never have happened to the Chrisleys, that they were given pretty harsh treatment, as you just heard. And look, a jury found the couple guilty of fraud, including charges related to a tax evasion scheme that went on for years. Now, investigators accused the couple of submitting false documents to request bank loans and using a production company to hide income from the IRS. Now, President Trump has repeatedly railed against what he calls the weaponization.
Oh, it's so great, you know? Like, now he can pardon anyone who did anything and just say it's because of the weaponization. Because now all of his followers are like, oh yeah, whatever Biden did, it had to be wrong because of the weaponization. Now, they don't really know how that could have played. Like, why would the Biden DOJ have an interest in weaponizing the government against Todd and Julie Chrisley? Like, who... Why would that have been a thing they did? It doesn't really make sense past the sniff test. But I do want to just say, I'm not super familiar with this case. But, and as I was reading about it, as our TVs, everything's going wrong on the tech front today. Now our video wall behind me is giving us trouble. So on the next clip, we'll figure that out. But I was researching this story, and then I stopped and I thought, I don't need to do any more research. They need to be in jail. because I saw this photograph. And I said, these are not real people. Why is there a male Ellen DeGeneres? Why is there a male Ellen DeGeneres? I don't understand. It's very... If I were to tell you, picture two reality TV stars who were God-fearing and who had a 30,000, not 3,000, 30,000 square foot home and were engaged in tax evasion, business fraud, etc., what would they look like? They would look like middle-aged white woman and male Ellen DeGeneres. That's what they would be. That would be the happy couple that would come to your mind. If I asked ChatGPT to create fraudsters, blonde, white fraudsters who were rich, ChatGPT would create this. Okay? To jail with you. No, I'm kidding, of course. They should be in jail or whatever punishment is deserved because of their conviction. President Trump will fully pardon the reality television stars Todd and Julie Chrisley, who were convicted 3 years. They're cult leaders. That's what it is, right? Imagine you wake up in a burlap. Is it burlap or burlap? Burlap sack. There we go. Burlap sack. Imagine you wake up in a burlap sack and someone pulls something off of your head and they say, "Welcome home." What would they look like? They would look like that. Imagine you wake up in someone else's bed and you go, I must have had a crazy night. Was some hottie next to me? And then you move your arm and you're handcuffed. What happened? And then you move your other arm. You're handcuffed. And then the door opens. And you hear, "You are home now." What faces would you see? These faces. These faces you would see. If you woke up floating in a river with a wound on your head, and you had just been tossed off of a bridge by people who had held you in their closet for 10 years, as you turned and started to submerge in the water and saw who was walking away, who would you see? This is who you'd see. So anywho, who were convicted 3 years ago of evading taxes and defrauding banks of more than $30 million to support their luxurious lifestyle. Thank you so much to Let Them Eat Cake for the gift of membership. Thank you to Alex Schaefer, Alex Schaefer, for becoming a member. Thank you to Robert, who said, "Love to you and the guys. You just get better every day. Thank you for your excellent reporting and awesome sense of humor. I really appreciate that."
Love you back.
Exactly. Everyone's just too sweet. Even with tech problems, you come through with your kindness. The pardon announced Tuesday by the White House is the latest instance of Mr. Trump using his clemency power to settle grievances over what he calls the political weaponization of the justice system. You can just imagine Biden obsessed with the Chrisleys, right? Jill. Hey, Jill, come here. We got to take down the Chrisleys. I saw them on the boob tube and they were all, "Who's this male Ellen DeGeneres on my TV? Let's get them on fraud, Jill. They think they're a better couple than us. We're the best couple in the world. Why is male Ellen DeGeneres live in such a big house, Jill? He's not even the president. I'm the president of the United States of America. Your parents are going to be free and clean," Trump said. That's weird. They were so dirty before. And they soared to fame because they did this show, Chrisley Knows Best. Self-made, God-fearing real estate moguls who lived in a 30,000 square foot mansion outside Atlanta. But the empire was based on the lie that their wealth came from dedication and hard work. But really, they were career swindlers who made a living by jumping from one fraud scheme to another, lying to banks, stiffing vendors, and evading taxes at every corner. Trump's type of people. moving on from that, you may have seen that Louisiana had a little bit of a prison escapee problem. 10 prisoners escaped. And we have an update on that.
Huntsville police released body camera or dash cam video of the chase that led to the arrest of 2 inmates who escaped from a New Orleans jail 2 weeks ago. Leo Tate and Jermaine Donald were taken into custody just yesterday. You can see there one of the men being pulled through a back passenger window. Now, the 2 men made their first court appearance this morning at the Walker County Jail, where they're being held now. That's where Devon Roming joins us live. Devon, what happened in today's court hearing?
Well, Ugochi, both men appeared this morning and were read their rights. We also learned more about the charges they both are now facing. Now, both men are facing charges of
Yeah, they tried to escape is the point of that. But thank you to Kane Northbound for becoming a member. If you'll put this back up, take a look at this footage. I mean, it's right out of the movies. I'll actually mute it, but they escaped prison. They ripped open this door. They went into a room with a toilet, and they removed the toilet, and there was a hole there, and they climbed through the hole. And then they spray painted, if I'm not mistaken. They wrote in some way, I think it was spray paint, "Too easy, lol." But if I'm not mistaken, the 2 only had 1 O. So that's a funny extra little note. You can see here the 8 of them are captured. 2 of them are still on the lam. So if you see them, say something. See something, say something. As always. But there is a lot of interesting little components of this. Only 2 of the 10 New Orleans jail escapees remain on the run. If you're going to escape from prison, last more than like a week. I feel like this just happened and 8 of them are already captured by the Louisiana Police Department. Like, come on. If I would have escaped, I'd still be on the lam, okay? I would have stayed away a little longer than that. Only 2 of the men escaped remain on the run Tuesday after police captured 2 men Monday following a high-speed pursuit in Texas, and another man they found sitting on a bench in Louisiana thanks to an anonymous tip. Come on! Like, I think you need to go back to jail. I saw some of these people are like second-degree murderers, and these are the real deal, right? Baddies. But lasts longer than that. You're just sitting on a bench, like, smoking, just having a beautiful afternoon, and you're on the lam, and someone sees you, and they're like, I remember I saw you on the Luke Beasley show, and he told me that there's a cash reward, so I'm gonna call in. Police dashboard and body cam footage obtained by the Associated Press appears to show 2 escapees fleeing from police, reaching speeds of up to 80 miles per hour. Again, only 80 miles per hour. We've all done that on the highway. You got to get up faster than that in a white SUV. And you saw some of that footage already. And then I'll show you here the dash cam, as was described in this headline as heart stopping. No, not heart stopping. That's a heart attack. Heart thumping, something like that. Footage of the body cam footage of cops finding some of these escapees.
Hey, everybody move to the right side of the car. Open the door, dude. I'm not opening. You kidding me? Get out. Go with them.
Got hands if everybody can hold it.
Jumbo, good hands.
One of the police officers' name is Jumbo. Of course, we're in Louisiana. It's Jumbo. And you just know, a lot of my family is from Louisiana. You know that once a year, he makes Jumbo's Gumbo. You just know it. Jumbo's Gumbo, and it's the best in all the town. Oh. It's so beautiful. Jumbo. Jumbo's Gumbo. Can I trade? I'm going to trademark that.
Shut up. Unlock the door with your right hand. No, Jumbo, back up. Crawl to him.
Jumbo's like, I'm not backing up, okay? I'm brave. I personally choked out an alligator last weekend. I'm not backing up, buddy, okay? I'm Jumbo.
All the way out.
Cool.
But hey, to the police officers' credit, I think they ended up handling that perfectly well. No one had to get hurt. And they got everyone out, and now they're all arrested again. Because, yeah, you escape from prison, you're going to have to get arrested again, especially when you've done some bad things. These aren't even just tax fraudsters. I think they've done worse things, some might say. But the worst crime is, of course, just looking the way that those fraudsters looked. I just feel like I know them. Like, that's the weird thing. Like, I know them so well just by that photo. And I hate that I'm profiling. I don't mean to. But the Chrisleys, oh, now I gotta pull it up again. It doesn't make as much sense if I don't have it. I know them, right? I keep forgetting their name. Who are these people? Savannah Chrisley's the daughter, Julie Chrisley and Todd Chrisley, the reality TV stars. I've never met them, and I know them so well. Like, I've had a glass of Chardonnay with them. Like, I haven't, but like I have at some point in some other universe. And I was like, like, I've gone and felt weird and out of place at a country club and looked over and I saw male Ellen DeGeneres hitting golf balls. Like, I saw it. I've never seen it, but I saw it. Does that make sense? Like, I heard the woman, I keep forgetting their names, because obviously Biden was intent on politically persecuting them. We all know them. Julie Chrisley. Julie, I've walked past Julie when I was like, I snuck in to the golf course to jog on the sidewalk, you know, and I saw her out on a table where like the ladies sit while their boys go golfing. And she said something, and it wasn't like a racial slur, but it was definitely racialized. You know, like that was definitely racist, but like I wouldn't want to argue that it was, because it was kind of perfectly on that line of not racist and racist. I've met them. And don't judge a book by its cover also. In addition to what I just said, don't judge a book by its cover. He bleached his hair. Don't bleach your hair as a middle-aged man. Can we all agree on that? No? I used to bleach my hair. I'm only 22, and I already stopped with that. I already stopped with it because I looked ridiculous. Oh, Denise Portlance, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate it greatly by clicking the join button on YouTube. All right, let's move forward. A hot mic caught San Francisco Giants manager Bob Melvin going off on the umpire. Let's listen.
Nobody is Ernie Harwell. Nobody is Ernie Harwell. But a little bit in the cadence and the sound just had a little Ernie Harwell in it. And I wouldn't have said anything. But remember, Ernie was a Giants announcer when they were in New York. He goes from the...
Isn't it crazy? Like, you're watching this show right now. There are people who, they sit down at night and instead of like watching this show, can you imagine? They watch this.
Giants to the Tigers. And David traded his Giants. Oh, we have an ejection. We have an ejection from the Giants dugout. Bob Melvin is not happy with the plate umpire, Tony Randazzo.
You know what I was thinking while I was watching this? Like, just kiss. You know what I mean? Like, why not? You're already nearly there. Just kiss. I guess. I feel like in the brain, don't people say like the love and the hate? Don't take this to the bank, okay? Unless you're the Chrisleys, because they took all sorts of fraudulent things to the bank. But I feel like the part of the brain that is love and that is hate is like close or something. That's why some people get so angry at someone, they just like hate sex with them. Sexing with people. Have you ever sexed with people? And so it's kind of like they hate each other. They're mad at each other, but they're also like having a real moment of connection. Like they're not gay, okay? I wouldn't make such a proclamation. I'm just saying they're feeling some level of homoeroticism. Like they're obviously not gay. They probably have wives. Fine. But there's some homoerotic element to this because when I shout at people, I do not need to be that close. There is one reason I'm that close to a man, okay? Yeah, so that was just a thought I had. You don't need to be that close. It does remind me though at like social gatherings when you're talking to somebody and they won't stop stepping really close to you. Oh, I know. And oh, is your brother? What is he? Is he still there? Oh, that's so. It's like I can hear you from over here. I can smell the shrimp you just ate. I'm not gonna say who, but I was just at a wedding, and some people, I'm like, I know the exact seasoning that was on the shrimp that you just ate. Like, I don't want to know that in my nose. You're so close to me.
Don't say it to me, said Bob Melvin. What was said?
Don't say that to me! Don't say that to me! Stop it! Sorry, I thought
Hey, Stat, Giotto got the racks in the back. Come on. Car full of white boys, hustle in the flesh. Black tinted windows, count money, yeah, we flex. Pulling up slow on your block, bitch. If we see a wire, bitch, we shoot at your chest. Car full of.
So that played genuinely without my permission. But this is a MAGA rapper who just shocked all of us. Sorry, that was really abrasive. Weirder tech things are happening than I've ever seen. Did you see right there? I was clicking pause and it wasn't pausing, so that was weird. But this is someone called Forgiato Blow. And I guess he has a new song called Car Full of White Boys. Which I like. Because sometimes I feel like no one ever sees me, you know? Like, oh, there's always carfuls of other races, but not my race. And I feel like when is a song going to come out that sees me? Because I sometimes like car driving as well. And so I want people to acknowledge that is my point. All right. So let's listen. And Forgiato Blow, who I guess I can't make a definitive statement about his race, but he's singing about carfuls of white boys.
He's blood red, heavyweight, number blue, hunters in the safe. With the Chevy on them 30s, but I missed the 28. All cash, no fronts, bitch, that's my motto. Trunk full of snowflakes in a Monte Carlo. The NBA ain't even seen this shit. 10 white boys rebounding them bricks. 10 fake mullet, redneck, pistol popper. Icy as a polar bear, fancy as a globe.
Where are the... Oh, I guess those are... Okay. Why do they... This is fun. He has a MAGA hat. He has Trump's face on him. Trump's gold face. See? MAGA rap.
Shirt off, pale skin, pearly whites, gold chain. Baking soda too pure, Mr. 28 gang. Car full of white boys, hustle in the flesh. Black tinted windows, count money, yeah, we flex. Pulling up slow on your block, bitch. If we see a wire, bitch, we shoot at your chest. Car full of...
Yikes. If we see a wire, we shoot at your chest. What do you... This is not the fun summer song I was hoping for. I heard I heard a MAGA rapper was making a car full of white boys song, and I thought, finally, a song for my summer. And then it's very naughty, and it's not as uplifting as I was hoping. Forgiato Blow. Yesterday we talked about Phil. That was the Forgiato Blow I talked to at the Trump arraignment. feels like a lifetime ago. Thank you so much for the super chat from Melanie McCoy, who said, I thoroughly enjoyed the humor you bring to the shit show. Thanks. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We try to have fun despite it all.
Legalize comedy.
Exactly. Phil, who we talked about yesterday, who's a MAGA guy, who is a part of the Tim Pool crew, who I debated one time. Yesterday, he posted this video and we covered it. And I just said, fun, cool. Then I found out that he was getting some backlash for this. And so let's remind ourselves. So he said, get outside and train. True. I'm always training.
Hey!
All right, so that's the gist of it. I think you get the gist of it. And so then he posted after that, he said, shocking number of haters on the last one. So here's another one. You should train more and talk shit on the internet less. We're still trying to, we've reached out for comment on this. We're still trying to figure out what we're training for. I'm all about training, but what are we training for? I would like to know. But he says, stop talking crap on the interweb and train for war.
Yeah. Fight! Stop!
Yeah. So I know for our podcast listeners, they'll just sound like a bunch of shooting. Just imagine a guy cosplaying as a soldier. I don't know. He might be former military. So all the respect in the world. I'm being dead serious. But if he's not, even if he, regardless, we want people to have fun and do things and enjoy life. So that's fun for him. But apparently his followers were giving him crap for that. So I'm really defending him. Stop being mean to him is what I'm saying to you, everybody. But someone named Dan said, were they hating or just acknowledging that you look like a dork? And I just thought that was really mean of Dan. I just thought, why make such a, that's just not very nice. Maybe you should stop talking crap and train more for something. So then in response to that, Phil posted a very powerful message. Shooting is fun, he said.
Fight! Stop!
Yeah, we get it. Okay, so that's that. And then someone said, this is not training. Just admit you're playing soldier like when you were a kid. It's fine. Don't shoot anyone of yourself. Okay. And he said, I assume the camo pants make it playing soldier. I don't know. So I'm bummed out that Phil's getting all that backlash because he's just trying to have a good time. Shooting is fun, as he says. And as long as he's on board, which he's probably not, he's definitely not, he's 100% not, but as long as he's on board with common sense gun regulations that still allow people to shoot such guns like he's shooting under safe circumstances and if they're trained, but also protect people's lives, then I don't have any problem with it. I know some of the producers in this room would think, do you think shooting is fun? You think shooting is fun? Yeah, cool. See, we got shooters in our midst. Laura Trump divulged the fact that Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper also has said this, called Laura Trump and said, you were right when you said Biden was declining. Oh gosh, take me out of this timeline.
Laura, when did that apology come? And if you don't mind sharing with us, what did he say?
Yeah, Jake Tapper called me about 2 months ago, actually. And he said, I have this book coming out. And I know everybody's saying that I should apologize to you. I plan, whenever the book comes out, to go on TV and I will say, you were right and I was wrong. And I guess to Jake's credit, he did that. Now, Laura, I think the overarching thing here, though, is that the damage is done, right? We were so close to something so dangerous happening to this country. I mean, look at what actually happened. Look at the millions of illegal immigrants able to pour in. People are questioning now, who was actually in charge of this country. I guess whoever was in.
So we know what she's going to say because we've heard it a million times. But I don't want to give my whole take on this again because I've been giving it over and over again. I know. But Laura Trump is not someone you need to apologize to. Maybe you want to apologize to the American public or you want to say, here's more insight into the goings on of the Biden White House in retrospect, fine. I've been saying we need to learn from it without only obsessing over it. We need to do both. Little middle ground from the two sides that are arguing over that. Should we move forward or should we learn from the past? Both. If you can imagine, we can do two things at once. And it's ridiculous to act like there isn't real reason to be concerned with what caused the sort of end of Biden presidency debacle, which was very age decline related. And you can acknowledge the positive things they did while also acknowledging that. And if Jake Tapper thinks that Laura Trump needs an apology, I think he's missing the point. Because if the belief is he feels like he was not as accurate as he could have been, Laura Trump, like, this is what's bothering me. I would love adults to get into a discussion. This is what we've been doing in our audience, and go, what did we get wrong? What if we had known it for sure earlier? Would have been nice to know? What decisions should have been made differently by not running, for example? And how did me as someone with an audience contribute to maybe not putting enough emphasis on X, Y, or Z issue? That all adults can have that discussion. And a big part of why it's so important is because the Democrats ended up losing to Trump. And now he's doing all these terrible things. And we handed over the reins to someone who's more dishonest, who's more dangerous, who's more destructive to democracy than Democrats could ever dream of. And so the fact that they messed up so badly and Biden's decline was a big part of what they messed up with is a contributing factor to why they lost. So adults, reasonable, honest people can be having that discussion. How effective at governance do we think he was despite those things, right? Like, all of that can happen. You know who's not a part of that conversation? Laura Trump. Hello? Like, however dishonest you think Biden aides were being about his health state, Trump is more dishonest than that about almost everything every day. Laura Trump is more dishonest about stuff every day about everything. So let's not do this whole, wow, the right-wingers were just so right. No, they weren't. They actually weren't, to be clear. Unless you're saying, if I went around and accused everyone of murder, you're a murderer, and then eventually someone was a murderer, then you would have to come to me and say, oh my gosh, you were so right. They concoct every attack. So yes, Biden, who was obviously aging, they were going to say he was completely cognitively declined and didn't know what was going on. They weren't right in that sense. They were throwing everything at the wall. Reasonable Americans who went, obviously he has better moments, he has worse moments, his age, anyone who has a mature understanding of how aging works was going, I just don't know how bad it's gotten. Is it affecting his critical thinking? It might just be affecting his speech, which wouldn't be as concerning. And the debate for a lot of people meant, oh yeah, okay, that's not it. But that doesn't mean the right wingers are owed an apology, because they were also saying Biden was the most corrupt with this Hunter Biden link, as they don't care about Trump, much more corrupt with his meme coin, right? So a movement that throws any half-truth, full truth, lie, distortion, delusion at the wall doesn't then get an apology for the fact that one of their attacks aligned more with the truth than most of their dishonest attacks. And it still is not fair to say he had no idea what was going on all the time, from what we understand. It was more like people, I say this again, that most of us have probably interacted with in life. You start to kind of see it slowly impact, and then it gets more and more rapid, their handling of scenarios. And given that he was used president, that's a fair thing to be concerned with. So I just want to make sure we don't fall into this, wow, they were attacking him for anything. So of course, because he was old, that was going to be it too. Similar to the murder analogy, they would throw anything. They don't then get an apology until they apologize for the 400 things they got wrong. The 400 things they're still lying about. If they want to come out and say Trump may not, if they believe he's not declining, that's interesting. But they're willing to admit he's a complete delusional narcissist who nearly took down our democracy with lies about the election, much more blatant lies than the Biden decline cover-up, whatever, ever could have been. If you're ready to apologize for that, then maybe you can join our adult conversation. But until then, our honest, good faith conversation, you clearly don't want to be a part of Laura Trump. So Jake Tapper, stop trying to bring her into it. Thank you so much to Sasarai for saying, hey guys, watching from the UK. Nigel Farage, rhymes with garage, is parroting BFF Trump, and people are disillusioned with the left, feel nervous. Yeah. It's a weird time for sure. But I think Trump's brand and anyone associating with it or kind of doing the UK version of it or the Australia version of it or the Canada version of it is going to ultimately be seen as toxic. So Secret Service suspends agents caught fighting outside Obama home. Unacceptable. Take a look at this. Actually, I think I already have it pulled up. Take a look at this video of two Secret Service agents, two female Secret Service agents, which led to MAGA going, DEI! Ah! Yes, because men never fight each other. And here are two female Secret Service DEI agents who one was mad at the other for being late to their shift, and they just decided to solve it with their hands. Yeah. There we go. And then a dramatic walk away. A right-wing journalist from this description. Is this a right-wing journalist? I don't know. I don't want to just throw that out there. Some journalist said that they obtained this video, and that was after an officer called a supervisor to come before I whooped this girl's ass. Well, that's nice. Secret Service. Top of their game. I'm gonna whoop this. You better get here before I whoop this girl's ass. That's aggressive. That's not ideal. All right. Tommy Tuberville, who represents Alabama as a senator, announced on Fox News in Tommy Tuberville fashion that he is running for governor.
So a few years ago, I decided to give back to this great country and fight. President Trump was a guy that really was behind me in doing the Senate race. He's been behind me ever since. And today, I will announce that I will be the future governor of the great state of Alabama.
I represented Alabama in the Senate. I represented Alabama as a coach. And now I'm here to announce I'm gonna be the next governor of Alabama. Like, that was your announcement, dude. A little bit poorly rehearsed. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna be Alabama's governor. Well, after an election. Well, first I'll do a primary, and then we'll do the general election. And then if I win, I'll be the next governor of Alabama. And us, as ranked very bottom on most metrics because our governance has been terrible and the citizens are being failed by their government, they're gonna keep getting more of that. And so get ready, woke, because you're going down.
I've still got 18 months to go with President Trump to make America great again. We got a lot of work to do. Monday we'll go back and pass the big, beautiful bill for President Trump. But I'm doing this to help this country and the great state of Alabama. I'm a football coach. I'm a leader. I'm a builder.
He never gets through a sentence without mentioning he's a football coach. I was good at calling a Hail Mary pass. And that's why I would be a good governor. I was good at telling kids, don't worry about that concussion. You can still get in that ball game. So that's the kind of determination that the governor's mansion needs.
To help this country and the great state of Alabama. I'm a football coach. I'm a leader. I'm a builder. I'm a recruiter. And we're going to grow Alabama.
Wait, take that down. Just everyone hold for a second. Can you just hold on for a second? Gosh, y'all get so antsy. Give me let's just see if this works for a second. He said I'm a football coach. I'm a leader. I'm a builder. Yeah, this didn't work. Okay. This didn't work at all. I just wanted to give a bunch of random descriptors of him after that because he loved his, but it didn't work. ChatGPT didn't help me out on that at all.
Alabama. We're going to bring manufacturing to the state. We're going to stop this illegal immigration. We're going to make education better again. And
Hi, I'm Tommy Tuberville. Do you want better education? Do you want better roads? Do you want to feel safer in your community? Well, don't worry about those things. Because first, we need to get the DEI out of the schools. We need to get the woke and diet, kill it. And, well, it's already dead, but you gotta shoot a man twice to know that he's dead. That's a phrase from around these parts. And we are gonna make sure we get the drag queens out of the drag queen bars that Alabama has a bunch of, obviously. And once we do those things, well, then it'll be the end of my term. But then maybe somebody else can handle the education stuff. Okay, all right, thank you. Tuberville for the Senate. I mean, the governorship. Dang it.
With the slap, but I'm just mesmerized by the age difference, gotta say.
And now we're having another clip play without my permission. Goodness, the computer's going wacky today. Here is the 5 discussing Jesse Waters getting hit.
With the slap, but I'm just mesmerized by the age difference, gotta say.
Prime time, your thoughts on this?
Well, Emma hit me this weekend. If you can look in closely above the eyebrow, we were just horsing around, and it happens often.
Jesse Waters.
I don't hit her back.
Oh, God. Greg, you have thoughts on this?
This is going to be another one of those flat tire stories where you have to tell everybody you're kidding.
I did not deflate her tires.
I had planned time off. I was already planning to be off.
You know what this is, Harold? This is just another example of toxic masculinity. But it could be a misunderstanding. He said, please don't hit me, and she hit him.
Yikes.
Yeah, Gutfeld's the comedy person on Fox News. Because he's funny is why he's the comedy. Because he does humor, which makes all of us laugh. Did you get that joke? It might go over your head. It's pretty smart. They had a misunderstanding. He said, don't hit me, and she said, I will. I mean, you know what's the saddest thing? His comedy show gets like a ton of viewership. Like, I think it's the most watched comedy show at night. Because Fox News just has this rage machine. And so people, like nothing else I've ever seen, we all have a family member who does this. They just grab, I always picture it this way. There's just a cable behind their TV, and they just grab it and they just plug their brain into it, and then they just sit and they're like, and then Gutfeld makes a joke like that, and they're like, and there's just so little substance happening. It's disappointing. Let's see, super chats. Cheese said, would you rather have antlers or a tail? Tail? Antlers, I think? It's antler. A tail. Yeah, a tail. Bilbo Jenkins said, do you prefer fuzzy handcuffs or bare metal? All right. Okay. Got a bunch of perverts in the audience today. Donald J. Trump posted, I told Canada, which very much wants to be part of our fabulous Golden Dome system, that it will cost $61 billion if they remain a separate but equal nation, but will cost $0 if they become our cherished 51st state. They're considering the offer. They're not, but he is saying that they are. And the Golden Dome thing, I cannot imagine that's going to actually go to completion. They keep saying we don't have money for anything, and we already have missile defense, and we already have nuke defense, but then we're creating this new Golden Dome thing, and it's like probably going to go up past $100 billion to do it. So y'all got to get your story straight. Do we not have any money to keep people alive on Medicare or Medicaid, or do we have tons of money to create a new, probably not that necessary Golden Dome?
I don't even know.
Me neither. State Department spokesperson read out, this is Tammy Bruce. Oh, Tammy Bruce. I remember Tammy Bruce. Bruce. She read out Trump's post to Vladimir Putin, but did it in like an official spokeswoman way, which was very awkward.
And as we've seen over the last few days, including this morning, the president has been very blunt about his opinion about President Putin. What I can say is that also, by the way, which has generated, I think, the president's ire and all of our.
Why is she the spokeswoman? The only clips I've seen from her, she's really good at a lot of things. A lot of things, truly. Tammy, she's very talented, except for speaking as a spokesperson. I think that as the communications, she's the communications person. I don't think she's great at communicating. Everything else, great, but her job, bad.
Extreme concern are the attacks resulting in civilian casualties in Ukraine. The president has said many times this has to stop. We are monitoring reports that this weekend's airstrikes by Russia constituted the largest aerial assault on Ukraine since the start of the war. Obviously, our thoughts, prayers, and awareness sits with the victims and their families. We are calling for restraint and urge all parties to avoid further escalation. We continue to support direct talks between Russia and Ukraine. The president supports any mechanism that leads to a just, durable, and lasting peace. Any mechanism. There is no military solution to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and a diplomatic solution is necessary. I will, for those who did not see the president's statement indicating the extremity of his concern from last night, just as the top, I've always had a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin of Russia, but something has happened to him. He is needlessly killing a lot of people, and I'm not just talking about soldiers. Missiles and drones are being shot into cities in Ukraine for no reason whatsoever. And that goes on, and that's from his Truth Social account. And this...
I am, so just as to I just want to read this statement as to the extremity of Trump's upsetness. He posts on Truth Social. Let me just go ahead and read. Vlad, stop. You need to stop. I used to be your best friend, but you're not invited to my party anymore. Then the U.S. president continued on to say, stop. I mean it, MAGA. And I will keep you updated on any further statements from the president. I'm trying to remember Tammy, Bruce. Let's see if we can find that clip of her being confronted about, I don't think we're going to be able to. Yeah, here it is. Yes, we found it. This is so funny. Oh, no, that's not it. Okay, never mind, everybody. Oh, yes, we do have it. Never mind.
From the president.
A lot of activity down here in the first row.
Something that's just come out from the president.
Yeah. All right, great. Terrific. Terrific.
The president has just written on Truth Social that Mike Waltz is going to become the new U.S. ambassador to the United Nations.
Well, there you
no
go.
longer the National Security
Fabulous.
Advisor. And in addition to that, he says that in the interim, Secretary of State Marco Rubio will serve as National Security Advisor while continuing his strong leadership at the State Department. Do you know how long he's going to be serving in both roles?
It is clear that I just heard this from you. This is the magic.
No heads up that this was coming
I have some insights as to the potential of certain things that might happen. Right. But when the president, and this of course is all presidential decision, so I'm with the State Department, it is, as I think would be clear to all of you, you don't want to get ahead of your skis in drawing conclusions or speculating about.
That's so iconic. I'm here at the State Department. This is the Washington, D.C. So then there's the USA, North America, and then there's the world, Earth, and then we're in a solar system, actually. And so if you think about it, I wouldn't want to get ahead of what. So to your question, did I know? What do you define know? N-O or K-N-O-W? Like, which one do you... She's just like saying a bunch of nothing. Tammy. What a fun time. That's where I'll leave it for today's morning show. I appreciate all of you so much and being patient through our tech problems today. We'll have them fixed, hopefully, by tomorrow. I'll talk to you next time.